You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Bring back that beat, DJ. Why stop so abruptly? Like we didn't pay our bills or something.
Right.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. Somebody got a plan in the background.
Who is? Oh, that's me.
Surprise, surprise.
Hey, that's good. I like that. I'm going to do that every week.
Welcome to the Forecast. We review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, 4 different perspectives. The 4 of us are back together again for this final episode of On The Hog, Feeding the Culture. This is available on Netflix. If you have not seen it yet, you are doing a huge disservice to yourself if you have not seen this.
No doubt.
I got a season 1. This is season 2, and this is going to round it out, the last episode here. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We do this every week at the same time, 8:30 Central, on BS3 Network, also on the End of the Bench, and also on the Forecast YouTube channel and BS3 TV on Roku. So as we always do, we just kind of go around the room and see how everybody's doing. Doc, I'm gonna come to you first. You weren't here last week, and also you were boots on the ground with an accident on 80 today. I mean, you were like Ted Koppel out there.
Yeah, Sean Rabb.
Sean Rabb, there you go.
Fox 4 News. Yeah, man. Coming out of 7-Eleven here in Forney, Texas. Which is just off the highway, just off the feeder road, frontage road, as some folks may call it, the service road, depending on how old your pawpaw is. Yeah. Drinking my little old blueberry Slurpee, without a care in the world, and all of a sudden I hear this bang, look up, and see a plane spinning out of control.
Wow.
Yeah. It looks like a small Cessna. That wasn't the brand of it because the KRLD reporter told me that he found out the brand and stuff, but I couldn't remember what he said. But it's a small 4-seater, and spun out of control, landed on his belly. The wing stopped it from flipping over. It did not appear that there were serious injuries. I can't confirm that, but it did not appear that there were serious injuries. And needless to say, cars start screeching all over the place because there's a plane in the middle of the highway.
Of course.
And start running to the scene to render aid and whatnot. So, yeah. And I didn't think about it until later, but there was no noise. Like you didn't hear plane noises coming in, like, nothing like that, right? So, some of the folks that I've talked to are saying that they must have lost power. And that's not uncommon necessarily in these small planes. And they do have cranks where they can kind of manually get it up, but it's time consuming and you got to be on it,
Old school.
So, yeah. It was interesting. Yet it's not every day you expect to see a plane fall out of the sky. Right. Planes are falling out of the sky. Our birds' heads are falling off.
Yes.
This world so gone crazy. Do y'all remember that from the Three Stooges?
Show gone crazy.
Do y'all remember that from the Three Stooges episode? This house so gone crazy. You said what, Ben? Was it?
I was saying, was it on the actual freeway or was it that in between the two?
It started on the freeway, but it ended up in the culvert or ditch right between the westbound side and the feeder road. Kind of ended up in a little, grass area there. But the whole seemed like it was pretty much intact. The tail took a lot of damage, and the wings, of course, took a lot of damage. But
Mm.
fortunately, with the hull being intact, if you can survive the bang on the ground,
Mm.
you're probably all right. You probably got a sore butt. But I was able to see who was in the pilot seat, and they seemed to be okay, but I couldn't see who was in the passenger seat to determine if they were all right or not.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah, definitely praying that everybody is okay, because
Yeah.
that is definitely a scary situation.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
It just feet from, hitting the 740 bridge, that overpass, and then 50 yards from the 7-Eleven, so it's,
yeah,
those pilots are trained that when they're having an emergency situation to look for a highway. So, I'm sure even though you lost power, she was able to glide it to the freeway.
yeah. And you good from last week? I know you were under the weather last week.
Yeah. I'm almost 100%.
Hey, well, it's going around, man. So y'all.
Yeah. Oh, I trust me.
I was dealing with it this week. Erica was dealing with it this week. So
I've been told, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Remember all this how COVID started, ain't it?
Yeah.
We didn't know at the time, but then a couple of months later, everybody figured out, you know what, I did have. So all right, y'all watching. Y'all watching. They're trying to get us.
Hey, Truck, how you doing?
Always good, man. Always
good, man. And you said something yesterday. You don't have to tell the exact, but you were talking about checking on each other.
Oh yeah, man. It's been a kind of rough deal with my crew. One of the homies checked himself out, and so I reached out to a bunch of people yesterday to make sure, and I would suggest that people reach out to their friends, because it's cliche, hey man, the strong, you see it in memes all the time. Yeah. Check on your strong friends. Nobody checks on them, and
that's right.
It came to fruition yesterday, and then even after I talked to y'all, my oldest friend in the whole world, a guy that me and him have been friends since preschool, his dad passed away a year to the day after his mom passed away.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So rest in peace, James Barnes Sr. It's crazy because his parents died on my mother's birthday. Both of them.
Wow.
There's a lot of similarities and pain and hurt there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Buck a good dude, because we call him Buck. Buck a good dude, man. We have literally been friends since we sat next to each other in preschool, Head Start, 1st through 8th grade, and then we went to the same high school. Ironically, never had another class together.
That is crazy how that worked.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Because like in Chicago, you can test into any high school in the city. Yeah. So I went around the classroom and I asked everybody, "What school are you going to?" And everybody said something else, and he even said something else. And then first day of school, I'm look, what's up? And we never sat next to each other again, but we still hung out.
Yeah. Hey, but I definitely agree with that. Check on your people, man. Family, friends, enemies. Shoot them a quick text, man. I know you don't like me, but I'm thinking about you.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, you send an enemy one and be like, I hope you don't respond, but I hope you are.
Yeah, I hope you're all right. Sucker, I hope you're all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right,
that was, hang on, because A-Trap mentioned something that is very old school. I wonder if kids do nowadays, but that was a big deal in middle school when you were trying to find out what high school your friend was going to. That was a big deal. Like when choice of school forms came out and stuff like that, and trying to negotiate with your mom and them. So it all depends on your school district, whether you had choice of school or if you were zoned. We had choice of school, so we could go anywhere in the district, as long as your mom and dad can get you there,
Right.
But that was the deal and some negotiations, boy.
Yeah, you got to figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
Boy, it took a lot of negotiations to get me to the school I end up at.
Oh yeah.
All right,
I'm
Wilkes.
still paying. My mother been dead 13 years. I'm still paying off some of them promises.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Doing all right. Hanging in there. Ready for the show tonight. Should be a good one.
Good. All right, episode 4, the final episode, which
What
they
about you,
did it.
Captain?
Huh?
What about you, Captain?
I'm good. Just getting over this, what I don't know, whatever it was,
The 2-letter thing.
sickness. But I'm good. I'm good. Feeling good.
Sickness.
The 2-letter
On the
sickness.
the 2 Nah, not that one.
Oh no.
Nah, not that one, man. Not that one. But yeah, man. Keep me on your sick and shut in list. Send a prayer out for me.
You got it.
Man, but episode 4, feeding the culture, they definitely did a great job with this. They ended it well. I'm happy and sad. It was just great content that you just wish, obviously, you could get more. But I felt like they gave you as much meat as they possibly could. I would love like a uncut, some hidden scenes. Do something like that. I love those type of behind the scenes bloopers. Whatever more content you can give. But Wilkes, man, I'm coming to you last. So A-Trap,
Right.
I'm coming to you first. Initial thoughts going into this episode 4. Kind of what were your thoughts?
It was bittersweet. It's no more until they do another one. So I really enjoyed it again, and I felt kind of stupid at the end of this because you always go, I wonder why why did they pick him? But he's a sommelier. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a pick situation. Didn't he kind of start it, get it done?
Yeah, like why would he do it? But he's a sommelier. He has a developed palate that he can taste and grade things. And I was like, yeah, he this is what he does for a living, so of course he can do this. So
Right.
yeah, I felt kind of dumb, but bittersweet.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I think somebody just mentioned season 3. It's not giving a whole bunch, but On The Hog season 3 release date. So it looks like there will be a season 3.
Okay.
But it's not
Yeah.
it's not giving me a release date necessarily.
That should be
Hey,
interesting.
well, at least if they can work on it, that's a good sign.
And that's on releasestv.com. It's saying that there's a season 3. But
By that time, we'll be good. We'll be real good until Mayhem in the Kitchen.
Tide is over.
All right,
Yeah.
Doc. Episode 3 and 4. Episode 3 and 4. Your initial thoughts.
Let me see. I got to pull it out because I had some good stuff on episode 3. Episode 3. That was the Defiance, correct?
Right.
Was that one? Okay, where the civil rights movement and things of that nature.
Yep.
Where'd you go to college again? Because they talked about Morehouse and Spelman.
Morehouse.
Okay,
yep.
so did anything resonate with you with regard to that?
Yeah, a lot. Pascal's.
Oh, really?
Been there numerous times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
it
Is the
brought
food
back some-
good?
Yeah.
Because it looked like that grease needed to be changed when I saw them frying that chicken.
No,
I know
man.
Wilkes, you didn't, huh?
Boo this man. Tomatoes.
like Rudy's chicken out here.
Hey, come on. At the end, that chicken didn't look dark. That grease didn't look dark to you, Wilkes. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta stay true to color there.
Now the chicken was that dark because the grease was probably too hot.
But yeah, so I really dug it from the standpoint because I thought about that earlier, but from the standpoint of the civil rights movement and how you had to get all those people fed. Even when we did the other documentary with it was a movie with the guy, the LGBTQ guy. Yeah, there you go. When they talked, I feeding all those people. Like they only talked about, okay, we're gonna do box lunches. We're gonna, you don't really think about that kind of standpoint, but food had to be center in terms of the civil rights movement. You just don't really think about that very often.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular one, again, we always know from a plot standpoint that the High on the Hog is just simply about food. Writer Stephen Satterfield traces the origins of African American cuisine, tracing its through lines from Africa to Texas. In this episode, which is season 2, episode 4, Feeding the Culture, a Black Panther reflects on the pivotal free breakfast program, which we've talked about several times here on the forecast. And luminaries gather for a special dinner and layered conversation about race and food. So yeah, I think we take it for granted, man, at how powerful food is in our culture and what it's meant to us, even, and even now when they talk about negotiating, they talk about coming, let's come to the table.
Right.
And you got to think that stemmed around food, that a lot of negotiations, a lot of settlements, a lot of feuds got settled, at the table, breaking bread. When you break bread with somebody, that's such a high honor, to say, I'm gonna sit and eat with you, so I just think we take that for granted.
Yeah. What's good, CJ? Make sure to follow CJ's YouTube channel. I think it's CJ Plays. Go ahead and put that in there. CJ, do not play it at work. Turn that volume down, or you will get
this last game. The way Buffalo
curves
don't beat the brakes off them Cowboys,
right.
especially
right. A couple of quotes to your point, Doc, was food can create home wherever you go. That was
that's
Nia Lee.
Super strong.
And the other one, never underestimate the power of the table. Like that's huge. And that's exactly what you're saying. That table can be for any type of conversation, meeting,
right,
disagreement. You put some good food down. I mean, y'all may still fight, but you can eat that food first.
Yeah. Even in some of the movies, H-Rap had talked about possibly giving some thoughts on some movies that we had watched this year and some favorites and whatnot. And one of my favorite was I think it was called You People with Eddie Murphy. And even then, they said, what you gonna do generally when you meet somebody's parents? You're gonna try to do it over a meal, one way or the other,
Right.
because that seems to calm the situation a lot of times,
Right. Now Roscoe's was the wrong place in that situation.
Right. Well, that was just one of them. That was that wasn't with all the parents. That was with just him meeting the parents.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah.
All right. Looks.
Yeah. I think this episode was great. I mean, especially just hearing about how once again, we kind of led the charge on building communities by taking care of one another, and definitely with that through, feeding kids and parents. And next thing you know, we're feeding the kids, but then the parents is kind of jumping in like, oh, wait a minute, they doing groceries too. They're giving away groceries to the food bank. So in a sense, this episode was really, really big. And I just can't help that it didn't really dawn on me from the first season, but the more and more I watched this, I noticed that we just had a lot of vegetables in our background. Like a lot of beans, a lot of just different vegetables, from pumpkin to radishes, onions in there, bean, grains, rice. Of course, obviously, we know beans and rice. They made a comment about that in here. But this episode is, once again, it's like a bookend.
Yeah, there's something to plant-based diet and our people, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't watch this and not question.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Your diet,
and it wasn't even called that. It was just called, we were eating off the land.
Right.
Whatever it was we grew, or farmed, or we ate. So yeah. Now they started off in LA, and so LA County has over 90 community gardens, which that's a huge
I noted that too. Yeah.
Alone in itself.
Yeah.
And immediately they went to Martin Gordon. And I'm gonna pull up a picture of him because he kind of kicked it off with talking about the Black Panther Party, and we know, A-Trap, you said this numerous times that was the start of the the free food program that happened in schools. So definitely wanted to show him some respect here.
Yeah, and say the entire name. A-Trap is the Black Panther Party for
self-defense.
That's right. Okay. And they talked about that as well, and why the Black Panther Party was started, and how they corrupted it, and how they propaganda changed the narrative of what they were about, and with this free breakfast program, which turned into a free lunch program as well, how once the government saw that this was an organization tool and how well organized the stuff was, they took it, and institutionalized it, because they wanted the positives off of it.
Right.
Yeah. And A-Trap, I'm gonna come to you, but I wanted to mention, because I got pissed off for a minute, because I'm like, they do like everything else, they steal it, but he said something. He said forcing a power structure to do what's right. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had to step back, like, he's right, even though it was formed into something else, and we're kind of the afterthought. The main goal was to feed the kids, and that's what happened. So, but A-Trap, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah. Well, it was a dual purpose. We tend to think of Black Panthers and guns and things of that nature, and yelling and screaming in the community, political organization. But they were what they did, and as we've said at least 100 times, as we've reviewed these 4 episodes, food is the key to bring people metaphorically to the table. Even like what I was thinking when Doc was talking a second ago, I was thinking about I cannot think of the movie when Boston George, what's the name of it? He was a drug dealer. Whatever. But even Ray Liotta and Johnny Depp said it.
Okay, I know which movie.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Wasn't it Black Tuesday? Wasn't it, or something like that?
The mafia. They kept playing Black Sunday all throughout all that movie. Black Betty. They kept playing that song. But
Black Betty, yeah. But I can't think of the name. But I know what mafia.
From the feds, he kept stopping by the crib.
Blow.
Yeah, he kept stopping by the crib. But to answer your direct question, what I was hoping they would go one step further, because the Black Panther Party self-defense, they were talking about politically organizing, but they would use, as we've said again dozens of times on this program, they would put food out, and that would bring people in, and they would educate them civically.
Yeah.
Second thing is, as you just alluded to,
gotcha.
The thing that I was really hoping he would say, but I'm cool with it because this is why we have a program and this attracts people to us. The WIC program was started by the Black Panther Party self-defense, and that's exactly how it morphed. Okay, we're gonna enhance food stamps is what they was calling them back in the day, and then now you have young mothers, young underserved parents who can't afford milk, cereal, and things of that nature. The WIC program is ushered in by them too. Another thing, and then this has nothing to do with food, but ramps for disabled people and Braille on the elevators, Black Panther Party self-defense. So as you stated, you had to take a step back, and it is, think about it, that's the purpose of the Student Nonviolent Committee, Coalition Committee, the Southern Christian leadership, and the Black Panthers. Y'all not doing what we want us to do. Y'all not doing what we want y'all to do. We're going to raise hell, and then y'all going to do it. Take credit for it. Who cares? But people getting helped, and that's the key.
Right. And you said that, you have these people in political positions, and you say, you're not doing nothing for us. But if you're not telling them what you want to do, or you're not rising up, like you said, then how they going to know, how they going to make action? Because they're not going to do it willingly. It's not going to be like, I'm going to do the best for the people most of the time. Some people
don't do what you expect, they do what you inspect.
Yeah, right. and I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna make a plea to parents out there. If you ever catch your kids making fun of somebody on the lunch program, please correct that issue, because there were probably a lot of people who needed it, who didn't go, who didn't get it because they were afraid of, being talked about, so please, if you catch your kids, make sure you let them know that that's beyond those kids' control, and whatnot. Just have a conversation with them about it. As dumb and as silly as I was in school talking, I didn't cross that line. Probably because I was wondering why the hell my mama didn't try to get us on the, I'm like, hey, this $1.20, but back then $1.25 was my lunch money every day, and it made it. I mean, I'm talking about did what it needed to do.
Right.
I wasn't hungry.
Right. Number $1.25.
Yeah.
But don't think I didn't look at them meal tickets and think to myself, "Ooh, I bet you them eat good though."
Man,
look good. Them little blue tickets killing it.
Ain't no more corn.
We got pizza.
Right.
The lunchroom gravy was all right, man.
Yeah, it was all right.
Hey, the pizza day, man, that bread, I don't know what type of pizza that was, but that square pizza on pizza day.
Yeah.
And they had the that apple crisp. Boy, that was a good day right there, man.
What?
That was a good day, man.
If
you failed that test, man,
that rectangular pizza hit.
Man, you got that pizza?
Let's go ahead and go through. Let's talk about everybody's favorite day at lunch. So yours was pizza, man. What was yours? Because mine was chicken fried steak day. You got chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, gravy, and they had that chocolate pie, man. What was that chocolate cream pie?
Chocolate cream pie.
That was my day. I didn't fight. I didn't misbehave. I ain't do nothing wrong on that day.
I was about best behavior that day.
I like the Salisbury steak with the mashed potatoes.
Okay.
And the peas and the carrots.
Cabbage fat about that.
Man. I was like,
okay. And chili day wasn't bad on Fridays. We had chili on Fridays. That wasn't bad. No. I would crunch up crackers and fries and everything else off in my chili. I'm the one who got Wendy's on this. Thank me.
All right, A-Trap.
Legendary.
I'm with you, man. Pizza day, man.
Yeah, man.
Pizza day. That pizza that chocolate milk was the bomb.
Man, that wiped away all wounds, man.
You might get beat up after school.
It's a show ain't no better chocolate milk in the world than they serve at school. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even drink chocolate milk anymore.
Yeah.
CJ said them breakfast pizzas was hidden.
CJ Young, man. We didn't have that. We didn't have that.
You had a carton and cereal. That was it.
Donuts was the breakfast.
Oh, look at her. They sold us donuts for 25 cents a piece, man. They was them Lone Star donuts, and they was hot.
Hey, man, why the donuts don't heat up nowhere else but in the damn school?
Hey, look at here, man. Hey, they as soft as a mother's heart, man. I ain't kidding you.
Man, my mama found some of them donuts. They did not heat up like they heat up at school.
Man.
We got a hot breakfast, but nothing like that. I mean, it was like biscuits and gravy. You may have got sausage and something else, but then you got cereal too.
Powdered eggs.
I think that was about it.
Yeah, and the breakfast, it wasn't a lot of choice. It was just the donuts. That's all they had in there. Yeah. At 25 cents a piece. Yeah, I'll take $1 worth of them donuts. Hey,
with diabetes.
And two of them chocolate milk.
You gotta say it right, diabetes, man.
Yeah, I ordered my donuts the same way I ordered my gas. Yeah, give me $1 worth for that. My press ham. I ordered my gas, press ham, and donuts.
Press ham.
I'm half laughing.
$1 worth of rat cheese and $2 worth of press ham. Man.
Oh man.
If you ain't ever ordered your meat like that, you ain't hood.
You ain't hood.
You ain't ever ordered your lunch meat like that by the $1 worth or $2 worth. You ain't hood. I don't care.
And it's got to be pressed.
Yeah. I remember my business partner. He's a white guy. One of my business partners, and me and Craig, Country Craig. I know Country Craig. He came over. He goes, "Hey, got some press ham from the country. I'm gonna stop, get a loaf of bread and some chips, and come by there. We're gonna have lunch at the office." And I'm let's get it. Yeah. So my business partner like, "What's press ham? What's that?"
Oh.
Now we had once he started biting it, we had to pull him off of it though, because he was killing it. But I never had it before.
Wow.
I mean, you got to think about how many people out there that have never went to a delicatessen like we done had a hood delicatessen
Right.
to get press ham. And if you went, they wasn't getting press ham. They was getting,
Hell
you
no,
know,
press
they
ham.
were getting boar's head and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, none of that
they wouldn't get no
ham.
Yeah. Fruit ham.
Yeah, because you had Stewart's right there on Lancaster, and then of course you had that's what I remember. My grandfather would go to Stewart's right there, and then when the Easy Shop was around, he'd get it from Easy. But that's
we had a place called D's.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a place called Cooters.
Man, there's some
old stuff.
Cooters, yeah. Cooters was good. Cooters had a big dude back there. His name was Big Rob. Big black dude. And you go in there, you can get chili dogs and stuff in there. So you go in there and Big Craig and say, "Hey Rob, give me 2 chili dogs, man."
Yeah.
And he had his back turned.
CJ want to know where he can get some.
Oh God.
Yeah. You can go to the over by South Dallas.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X to the Packing House meat market.
I can't. Not Rudolph, because Rudolph's that's another meat market.
Yeah,
Deep Ellum, but the Packing House is still there.
Packing House, the only place I know right off there.
The grocery store though.
But they not. You ain't gonna get no press ham, no. We talking about the hood.
I mean, they sell it.
You can go to any deli, but you can't get no press ham. Not like hood.
They sell it in Jewel. Well, y'all call it Kroger, but they sell it here.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah, come on up there, CJ.
Yeah, you got to go to the old school to get that.
Nah, you can go to the Packing House. But anyway, Big Rob, he have his back turned to the customers back there while he fixing your stuff. And so Craig said one time he forgot to tell him, "Oh, Rob, put some onions on there." And Rob just stopped what he was doing and turned around and said, "Now see, that's what make it good." And turned around and kept making the chili dog.
Yeah, man. That's one of the spots you gotta go to.
Oh, W&W is still around, but that's down in right there in Hutchins. But W&W, that's another. But they do burgers in there too and burritos. But
yeah, I'm sure it's a lot more places throughout Dallas that we just don't go to.
Oh yeah, right.
Frequent,
yeah, because Rainbow Deli that's long gone, but that was right there. Over there,
you know that green book that they used to have. Wilkes we need a Wilkes book, man. The spots, man, that be in your brain, man.
Trust me. Oh yeah,
that's why we big man in the kitchen, because he can make something and say, "And this was just like at this joint."
Yeah. That's usually how that goes. Especially that last
post on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
They mentioned Bryant Terry. He's a chef in Arthur. I wanted to pull him up. And this
Arthur or Arthur?
Arthur.
Okay. Huh? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He said Arthur at first, and then he said Arthur, where they know he said it like somebody Big Mama said. So then say it again, man. Use your Morehouse education in there and say Arthur the way you're supposed to say it.
Arthur.
He wants that R to be at the beginning of it so bad.
All right, Brian Terry. And he grilled some eggplant, which actually looked good. Normally I wouldn't eat it, but it looked good.
So have y'all ever had eggplant parmesan?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have.
Ben,
it's not I have. It's not like mine.
You don't like it?
Yeah. It's not my
I've
favorite.
never had it before. Because I always pick the meat parmesan instead of the eggplant.
Rightfully so.
Wait a minute. I can get chicken, veal, or eggplant. No, don't give me that. Let me go.
Veal.
Put an eggplant to the side.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
I used to be a vegetarian for like 2 years. Next time you get some eggplant, get you some seaweed, season it up like fish.
Yeah.
Put some seaweed in some water, soak it overnight, and fry it. Tastes just like fish. Same texture, everything.
I haven't tried it. I have to check that out. Yeah,
both come from the sea, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It even smells like it, because once something smells like it, you can get the taste.
That's what she said.
This guy.
Hey, I put on Facebook. I told him it's been a minute. I I done missed the week, so I'm gonna come out shooting.
Now, Wilkes, have you heard of this guy, Brian Terry?
I have, but I don't follow him. But I've seen him before. Like some of the chefs that I do follow, they've like done some collabs with him or kind of sat down one-on-one and talked, but I haven't like checked out any of his recipes. But that eggplant with the I believe he said peanut pesto, something like
it
that.
was very
That looked
interesting.
good too.
Yeah, that looked pretty good. Yeah, I've heard the name. I just don't know much about the background.
My
But
favorite chef, man.
What'd you say?
He's my favorite chef.
Oh,
Not
okay.
because what he cooked over his left shoulder is why he's my favorite chef.
Oh, on this
Put the
picture
picture
right
back up.
Okay. You talking about the MF Doom over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw him hiding over there.
That Mad
over
Villain
there in the
album
corner.
was cute.
Yeah.
And he got a cool name too.
Yeah. Now, rest in peace, right? He passed away. Was that last?
Doom out of here. Doom out of here.
Last year? The year before last?
In 2021, was it?
2021.
Yeah. Now,
Well, they don't know when he died because they announced it
in like December. Yeah, they announced it in December, but they said he died like
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, they said he might have died like back in August.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was great.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Doom? Doom used to have doubles go to his concerts and perform for him. Like it'd be like Doom in Dallas, Doom in New York, and Doom in Chicago. You didn't know because he wore that mask. You didn't know.
You know which one. Yeah.
Smart.
Wow. And he was like that. Yeah.
Doom was dope, man.
Now, another person that was very instrumental, Karen Washington, food activist, and she talked about food apartheid, which I haven't heard that term used, but I felt like they were calling her the godmother of the I guess food activism or you know
I want to say
garden type thing.
Then this segment of the show actually reminded me. I don't know if this was. I felt like this was happening in the 90s, maybe the late 90s, but maybe even early 2000s. But I remember these urban gardens becoming rooftop gardens. I mean, they were becoming a thing in Jersey and especially in New York, parts of Queens and Harlem, maybe Harlem, but definitely Brooklyn. But when I saw her, it reminded me of that. So I'm wondering if it's got to be the same lady. But when that took off, I mean, you had people like adopting the garden in the neighborhood because then they were picking and planting in that garden. You're feeding a neighborhood with this garden. And then the one they showed that had grown, I mean, it was just to see how many there are now. I remember this late 90s or early 2000s. Like this was becoming at first I didn't understand what it was about. But then people kept saying, you know, well, we don't have the ingredients or the groceries, or we don't have the food, we don't have the access to it. But then all of a sudden, these urban gardens and neighborhood gardens started like popping up everywhere. So it definitely, when I saw this, it was a kind of a reminder that it was kind of awesome to see that because you don't hear about it much anymore, but it's definitely still going on. Because I remember when it had got started, and they were just kind of even getting the kids involved, kind of teaching them how to take care of it. You know, when the elders pass, you know, the kids take on, you know, the children of the neighborhood will continue it. But yeah, it's pretty good to see that.
Yep, you're on mute.
The first time I came across a community garden was actually in St. Louis when I was there for a good friend of mine's wedding, and the chick that he was marrying, her dad would go to the garden every day, you know, to kind of work in the garden and stuff like that. But it was a community garden, you know, and I thought that was a novel concept, you know.
Yeah.
That's when I wore a younger man's shoes, you know.
Right on.
Yeah. You say younger man's shoes?
You ain't never heard that line?
Nah, I ain't never heard that.
You need to get out.
With the old school.
Yeah, you need to get out more, you know.
Yeah, you went way back.
Yeah. That's when I
the first time I heard of it, Ben, is in your neck of the woods in Oakland. It's a restaurant that lives off a community garden. They even go as far as because they, you know, the meat from the scraps from the food, leftover food. They bundle it with other with the soil, and then it creates maggots. And they catch the maggots, take the maggots from the food, and go catch fish with the maggots. It's just a cyclical situation,
So
and
they're
it's
using everything.
Yeah.
What's up, Terry?
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, go ahead, H-Rap.
Oh no! So I think I saw it on a Netflix documentary. It was pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they recycle everything. It's just like from plate to trash to earth, back on the plate. You know, then they take it to like they take some of the scrap to pigs.
So they use it for compost and stuff like that. So the Super Bowl last year, being when we were there in Phoenix covering that's the place that the NFL chose to have their media party at. Is at this farm to table place, you know, so this farm basically has a little restaurant off to it, to where most of the stuff they get off that farm, I mean, from it's served at the restaurant, comes directly from that farm. So yeah, that farm to table thing is real big right now, and a lot of those restaurants, their menu is based on what they're actually growing, and it's seasonal, you know, and whatnot. So they get only what they growing is basically what their menu is going to be surrounded by.
Yeah. And I mean, that's been the theme in this whole second season. Any restaurant that they go to, they say, yeah, well, we get this from here, or we're growing it out here, and or we have a supplier like the watermelon guy. We got a supplier. We go down to Georgia and we get it. So I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, you're not supposed to have fruit in a season when it's not that season. Obviously, that's not real fruit. What that means.
Right.
So I mean, it's. I think it's part of it is us understanding that food is made. It's not just what's grown or what's.
So do y'all feel funny now when y'all are eating fruit and stuff that don't have seeds and stuff in it? Are y'all conscious of it a lot more now than you maybe used to?
Definitely
feel a little funny about it.
Yeah. Right. It's like,
it's hard to do the grapes with seeds, man. Like I'm eating sunflower seeds.
But you know,
that's where I draw the line.
Right there, but obviously, you know, we're losing out. Obviously, we're losing out on some of the nutritional value, though, right? You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Eating it, you know. So, but you know, I don't. You want to be perfectly honest with you? I can't tell you the last time I saw a seeded grape in the grocery store. I'm telling you,
they just in the back.
you gotta ask them.
Yeah, they're over to the side next to the starfish.
Yeah, they about this big. They put them behind the big giant crates. Look like mini watermelons.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's kind of been the theme, and we've seen that in different episodes, different restaurants. Now, the next person they went to, which I felt like she had some good quotes, was Nia Lee. She's an artist, creative director, and she coined the term Black food futurist. And she has a supper club, which again goes back to the point where if we can sit down and have a meal together, that meal, there can be conversation, sometimes even therapy, sometimes you giving advice to each other, you sharing recipes. I mean, I think that's huge for us as a people and just in general. But Wilkes, you got some. Have you heard of her? And what was kind of your thoughts of that segment?
No, I thought it was good. I have heard of her, and I thought that was needed because, like you said, and we mentioned before, and just now about the urban garden, she's building something that will potentially, which I'm sure is already catching on, but she's building something toward that future she mentioned. You know, it's like, it's just being like watching this. I did not notice it until we watched the second season, how so many vegetables kept coming up and they were the driving force. It wasn't always just the catfish or the chicken or whether it be a pork loin or it be a lamb or whatever the case is, but vegetables were always the driving force behind the dish. And with how she's incorporating different things in her cooking and, you know, just trying to build something almost like I guess you could say maybe a well of knowledge of these things that she's putting together, because it's like, well, this is my recipe, but you might need to tweak it for your health benefits or whatever the case is. But the blueprint has been laid, and I thought it was pretty awesome. And I think that's what's great about cooking, because you can just we talked about having the power of the spoon. You know, the table, yeah, you come to the table to talk about things and discuss it and get them done. But the person that yields the spoon, you know, they have the power. So, you know, that's one of those things where she can build that.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anybody else want to touch on that?
No, he hit everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had the rice, peas,
That's what she said.
shrimp, and
Yes.
edible flowers that she had on that picture.
Yeah, the edible flower. I love to see that too, because that's very big.
The and the pansy, and because again, this is where the LGBTQ community was getting involved in this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
yeah, and so we're taking that back, you know. Right. We used to call queer folk pansy,
right?
You know, so we're gonna take that back and make something good out of it. You know?
Yeah,
and that's the truth, you know.
Oh,
exactly
absolutely.
One of the things they used to call them.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of LGBTQ, what I really liked about this and is it kind of you kind of dispel some of that Black people are homophobic thing, you know, because we somehow they hung this Black community don't like gay people thing over our heads. And I've never lived in a community anywhere. I've never been anywhere, whether it's been down at the school, whether it's been in the hood, where we were just running off gay people. You know what I mean? I've never lived in a community where the gay dude wasn't one of the most popular people in the community.
Yeah. See, this is my this is you're 100% right, H-Rap, and this is what I think is the case. Is that they misunderstood our banter. Okay, they don't understand. See, we in the Black community, we score on everybody. Yeah, nobody is immune from scoring. I don't care if you LGBTQ.
Blind, crippled,
I don't
crazy.
care if you handicapable. I don't care if you the grandma. Everybody gets scored on. So you probably heard us scoring on one of them and thought, you know, that don't mean we got nothing against you. In fact, if we talking about you, this is how I used to say it. If I fucks with you, I fucks with you. Right. You know, so if I'm messing with you, if I'm scoring on you, if I'm clowning on you, that means you generally some of my favorite people, you know. So you know, I think it just got misunderstood because they hear us doing that talking and they assumed it was in a negative content, and it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. Most definitely, yeah. Because like I said, like every neighborhood I've ever lived in, Ben can attest to it. Like they acted like gay men at Morehouse was a secret, and it wasn't no secret.
No,
I mean,
definitely wasn't no secret.
Yeah, it wasn't no secret. Like, but I remember when it came out about 14, 15 years ago, they acted as if it was like nobody knew. I was like, nah. And like Doc said, it was this dude, F-word Tone. It's like 15 dudes in the hood named Tone. So he became F-word Tone, you know. That was his name. I mean, we were too ignorant to understand that was offensive. Yeah. We knew it was offensive in a kind of like the N-word. Yeah. But it was almost like an embracing, like, and then like on the west side, like where all the thugs are. This dude, one of the coolest dudes in the hood was this dude named Papa and Sissy David, you know. And that was just their names, you know. It wasn't like you Izzy. No, it was just like David. Like which David? Sissy David. And then and on the north side, F Tone. You know, it was like it was nobody was like, hey man, don't bring that dude around.
Nah. You just moved.
But it's this one instance that me and my man Bud, it's this gay cat. He's very popular in the neighborhood, me and Big Illinois neighborhood. And my boy Macy was like, hey man, you going to Brian's house? And I was like, he didn't invite me. And me and Bud standing there, Bud's like, don't even ask me, he didn't invite me either. So later on in the conversation, after Brian walked away, We was like, hey man, how you gonna ask us to beg the gay dude to come over his house? Like, no, if he didn't invite me, I ain't coming. You know, I ain't
Right.
come over
Right.
to your house. It's like, nah.
It's like, nah, man, we get it.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is because we at certain times we didn't understand or you don't agree. I mean, that doesn't mean that it becomes a hate thing. I think sometimes that those lines get blurred. So
yeah, and we all got somebody as a member of the LGBTQ community in our family. All of them, and if you're using this whole religion thing to alienate them, shame on you.
If you use a religion, you better not have ever told a lie, stole nothing.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Shame.
Shame.
Somebody did it. All right, I think the difference between this episode and all the others is
Shame food.
Shame food. It is, but I threw it in there.
Hey, it sounds like shame.
We let it roll, man. We let it roll.
Remix. But they had a musical interlude in this one, which they didn't have in the past episodes. And this was this cat right here, Triune, and he had Wiser Than Ever. I mean, and this was, they could have let that run for a little bit longer, man. I'm gonna probably pull that up on my own, but I feel like that was definitely needed. You could have played that in all the episodes, really.
I heard that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm coming to you. I'm sure you heard that. They
made you hear that one. I was like, how could he not?
Right.
I thought
they
he was blacked out
made a segment for that one part. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was blacked out initially.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was coming with it,
killing it.
Yeah.
It's great soundtrack. Great soundtrack on this.
Yeah, really.
I was in
one track
on the soundtrack. I feel like I'm a part of the show now.
It's a single. Single soundtrack.
That's all right. Spin that single, the EP, baby.
Yeah, keep playing it. Keep run them numbers up. But I'm gonna put that up one more time.
Triune,
Wiser Than Ever.
38 cents.
Yeah, go check that out.
Let me ask Wilkes on them Black Eyed Peas. Well, they were different kind of peas. Were you familiar with the different variety?
Yeah,
they had green, but they had some other color.
They had it was kind of
red one or something,
reddish kind of
purple.
No, that's what I said when they had the farmers market downtown. That's why I was saying I had never seen so many different beans and peas.
I'm gonna have to start going there
because it was because when I was growing up, I saw stuff. I was like, I never even heard of it. Like, of course, my grandma, she didn't buy those, but just to see them in those different colors, and then to see the green, the peas they're black eyed people, but they're green. It's just like, man, this is in the black rice. That stuff just.
But I want to try them just to see, and I'm gonna prepare them the same way based on what I know.
You should,
but I want to see what the flavor profile is. Is it, how different it is?
Yeah. Now that I can't. I can't speak for that one, but yeah, I've seen all those colors. Yeah, there's even a white black eyed pea, but they don't. It's not something that's missing much, but.
Yeah, like lima beans. I got news for you. From a lima beans, some of the baddest lima beans out in there. A white grandma cooked. I kidding you, man.
Hands down. Hey, they dropped them in stews.
Lima beans.
Miss Daisy made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Miss Daisy.
Wow.
That's the first name.
Wow.
Miss
Daisy. Wow. Navy beans.
Yeah.
Butter beans.
All right. So this guy right here on the right, Patrick Clark, the first Black James Beard winner. The Odin Bar is where he was the executive chef, and then you see his son on the left. And there's a lot of history here. I'm definitely coming to Wilkes. I know you got a lot of knowledge on that. I have your photo too, so just let me know when you want to bring that up.
Yeah. So with Patrick or Chef Patrick Clark, I think I've mentioned this. In this, we were actually reviewing something else, and I brought up his name, and I don't know how we got there, but I think I mentioned this to H-Rep. I was saying, like, growing up, you saw the the Wolfgang Pucks, and you saw the Julia Childs and Jack Pepin and those people. But there was this show called, I think, Greatest Cooks in the World or Greatest Chefs in the World or something like that. And it was always kind of like just going around the world, whether it be North America or Europe, wherever. But they had this one segment with Patrick Clark on there, and that was the first time I had seen a black chef. And when I saw that, I was like, man, this guy is making great food. He's an executive chef. He's got things that are techniques that are still being used today in the culinary world. I mean, it's like some of the stuff I saw him do, it was just like, man, I've never seen that, because you would think, oh, well, that's typically everything has to come from French kitchens, and that's not the case. They even had a brother in this episode where he said he's not professionally trained.
Right. And that, my ears perked up there.
Hey, you don't, I mean, and that stuff right there, it goes a long way. But so anyway, there was a dish that he had made, and I had to recreate it because it was great and I enjoyed it. So I guess, Ben, if you want to share that photo. So that is actually, what's that?
No, I said, okay, come on.
So that's actually Patrick Clark's coconut halibut, or horseradish mashed potatoes with a horseradish halibut, but they did not have. You're actually supposed to use a different fish, but they didn't have it because it's always kind of hard to find. And the chive oil at the bottom. So, and then the fried crispy leeks on top. But that is his actual dish that they showed it in this segment where he's actually about to plate it. And I thought it was pretty neat that they showed that. And so I had to recreate that just for him. So I enjoyed making it.
That looks good. I smashed that right there, man.
Yeah.
Now what's them sticks? Put the picture back up there. What's them sticks across the top of it?
Well, that's what they call an over elaborate plating, but those are just regular chives you would put on your baked potato if you
that are not chopped up or whatever.
They're not chopped up. So
I ain't seen it. You chiving, man.
Nah, man, I wouldn't chive you, man. But I enjoyed it.
How long ago did you make that?
That right there, I actually made that in the summer of this year.
Appreciate you, A-Trap.
I really enjoyed making that.
Chive turkey. You know what's so sad about this? Is it's such a dad joke, and we're getting so much laughter out of it. It's like weak, man.
We're like,
it's like no good at all.
Just can't help it. You can't help it, man. You can't help it. So it was great to see his son Preston Clark kind of take up the mantle and do his own thing and make his own way. That was pretty
serious about it. And they talking about how they what's most important for them is that other black chefs get the opportunity to be hired at nice restaurants around town, like even Michelin level restaurants, around town and stuff like that. So I thought that was key. Anytime somebody has other people on their mind besides them, they like we trying to be this good, so folks will give other people opportunities, man.
Right. And one thing Preston Clark mentioned was the importance of seasoning. And Dawkins and Wilkes, I want y'all to tap in on that. Whoever want to go first.
The funny thing is, I had never done this before, and maybe I have seen this before, so it was something that I definitely forgot. But Doc, every time he gets down to that last bit of barbecue sauce in the bottle, you got to add your little water in there and get the remnants out of there.
Did you see me do that over here?
Yeah, I did. I did. And I thought about it the other day because I was making not butter chicken. I was making a coconut coconut lime chicken, and it calls for chicken broth. Well, in the bottle, I had a concentrate and then I had a non-concentrated one. And so I poured some water in there and kind of shook it around. I had to get the rest of the bouillon out of there. I was like, that's for you, Doc. That's for you, man.
That resonated with me, man, because think about it. It is what there's even been movies that talk about it. We remember the Colin Kaepernick documentary that we did when he went over to their house.
Yes.
You know, to the black people house for the first time, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is so good." You know,
right.
that it's because it has season on it. So this is not something that is not known, as far as I'm concerned, country nationwide at the very least. You know, is the difference between the way we season things and the way other folks season things. Now, I think we're dangerously close to going overboard in some circles. If you pay attention to some TikTok videos and some Facebook videos and stuff like that, they go, okay, wait a minute, you're going a little too far with it sometimes.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we've been doing in my family for a long time that they just now starting to talk about recently is that layered seasoning, right? Like you season at every layer. You know, you go season in the flour, you're gonna season in the chicken, you're gonna season in the, you know, in the water even. Like I've been seasoning water before I boil a potato in it for the longest, or whatever, you know, or pasta or whatever the case may be. You know, because I'm like at every level, it's gonna introduce that seasoning in some way or another, you know. So yeah, so seasoning for us and for him to say that was our advantage. That's our that's the gap with our cooking. Yeah, you know, the fact that we got a handle on this, you know. And I think a lot of times, you know, that's why H-Rap, remember you came here, we went to the barbecue restaurant first, and the first thing you noticed was like, God dog, that's all kind of people in here. I promise you, our European brothers and sisters, you know, our Caucasian family members, when they taste it, they are on it. You know, they are on it, you know.
CJ said, nah, for real, dog. That's why our cholesterol be so high.
No, you're right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You're right. And that's what, of course, that's what I was thinking about through this entire segment. I mean, we say, you know, it's like, oh, they said this food was just for scraps. They said this food was horrible, but now you reselling it. But yet now you're hoping that we overeat on it. Now we're having health issues from it. But once this food nurtured us, this food.
And so CJ talked about high cholesterol with some of the seasons. Believe it or not, some of the way I season now is based on health, right? Like I'll use more turmeric than I ever have before. Like I'm seasoning with turmeric all the time now, which is an anti-inflammatory. I'm seasoning with cayenne quite frequently, even though I'm not trying to get the heat there.
But cayenne for you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get it infused into some of the foods and stuff like that. Just as every time I think about it, you know, it's not necessarily because of the flavor profile, it's because of the health benefits.
Exactly. I think H-Rap was going to say something.
Speaking of health benefits, that could tie directly into the thing that Ben has mentioned on several occasions. You can't over season a vegetable because when you season a vegetable,
it brings the flavor out.
Exactly, it brings the flavor out, and the vegetable promotes anti-inflammatory. It has anti-inflammatory properties as well as promotes blood flow, which reduces cholesterol, reduces pressure. So that may be why our elders did the vegetables as hard as they did, because no matter how much you season it, it's just gonna taste better and be better for you. You're gonna eat more, and then it's gonna be better for you.
All of a sudden, I got a taste for some greens with some hot sauce, man. God,
hey, greens and hot sauce.
You better not eat it with no fork.
God, I better not eat it with no fork. Why not?
Now you eat greens with your hands, man.
Oh,
what notes you taking?
Okay, eBay.
You know, Deacon Dale called me that, right?
Who called you that?
Deacon Dale calls me that. Go to my Facebook page. And anytime Deacon Dale, somehow me and Ben got a homeboy named Dale. He lives in Baltimore. And somehow we started calling each other Africans and playing African jokes. And one day, Deacon Dale put on my Facebook page and tagged me to a picture of eBay from Good Times and say, man, look, H-Rap been on TV for years.
Oh, I think I saw that before.
And then about a month ago, he put a picture of Michael Blackson up and said, I can't believe H-Rap been sold out this theater in my town, and then he come give me no tickets. But when you saw it, when you said that, I was like, oh, eBay.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, you eat greens with fork?
Yeah, man, I don't use my fingers, man. Y'all use, huh?
What? I never heard of it. What?
Eat greens with your hands.
Picking them up with the hands.
Nah, man.
Fork.
Nah.
Thank you.
Oh, hang
You
on.
use fork too, Wooks?
I do.
No, man.
Yeah. Oh, I got
Fork
to.
taste, you get the metal taste. You get the metal taste with the fork. Break up the cornbread, eat it with your hands, man. Ask your granny. Ask your mama.
Yeah, I'm sure they did a lot of eating with their hands. More grits, dummy.
No, but just really great. Just great. Nah, man. Folks up here eat greens with their hands, man. Actually, if Shaka's still in here, you eat greens with your hands.
Hey, come on, jump in, Shaka. Now, towards the end, they kind of went the social media millennial route. So they had Devon Francis. He was the one that wasn't really trained. He went to school for art. He said, and cooking became. Yeah, I felt like that was.
Oh yeah,
dope.
no doubt.
And they had the social media aspect, so they had the guy there that was doing the filming, and he was kind of like showing the hot spots.
Social media chef, man, and not trained classically and whatnot, man. That is so off the chart.
Yeah.
But for him to say I was trained in art, but then that led to food, and another guy says I started in business. I got a degree in this, and I would have never thought,
Right.
So but that's where their passion lies. So I thought that was huge, man.
Yeah. And I don't remember the guy's name that was the kind of the social media guy, but he was basically saying, support Black food if it's good.
That's right.
Promote it because nobody's gonna know unless we are the ones that push it and give it that.
He said it doesn't matter if it's 5-star. It don't matter if it's in the hole in the wall gas station. If it's good food, I'm giving you a review. I'm sending folks to it.
Right.
Yeah, but the guy named Keith, whoever it does his reviews,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. The guy who originally he got a show off of it. They used to go. He's a big guy who used to go do stuff. He got a Burger King. Yeah, he got a Burger King commercial off of it, and got a show from him just doing food reviews all over the place because how funny he is.
Yeah.
Netflix he got a Netflix series.
Yeah,
I think it's Dame. Is it Dame or
something
Damon.
like that?
Crunchy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But I'm saying there is definitely opportunity there, and I think it's creativity.
Yeah.
It's creativity. It's raw. It's not. A lot of it is them just being real and showing what they enjoy.
Yeah, and your boy from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, he just signed his second 3-year, $86 million contract.
Second
with food. His second one.
Wow.
3 years.
He's still doing new episodes.
Guy Fieri. Yeah.
Oh, there's always places to go. There's always.
So now I'm sure that 3-year, $86 million is. From not only the diners, dive-ins, and drives, but also his grocery games and some other stuff. But not only is he doing that, he got to deal with Carnival, where his restaurants or his burger restaurant is on the cruise ships and stuff like that. So again, it started out with a chef who all of a sudden I'm just gonna go to restaurants, start tasting folks' stuff.
Right.
I mean, hell, we've done trips based on going to the places that he, like road trips. Our express purpose was let's take the route that is going to be where he got his food.
Makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And shout out to Dallas restaurant Smoky John's.
No doubt.
We've all been there, and they have been.
If you've eaten the turkey leg at the State Fair of Texas, in all likelihood, you have eaten the Smoky John's.
Yeah. Big shout out to them. He made a chicken ceviche. Was that right, Wooks?
Yeah,
which is different than
the actual seafood.
Normally, it's a seafood, right?
Yeah, normally it's seafood.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on that kind of?
No, I mean that's what I said about cooking. I think as long as you don't. Well, some people do, but I guess in my head, if you don't stray too far from, what the recipe was intended, you can always substitute like most people do if they don't, they have a seafood allergy or. They can't get down with the seafood, maybe a ground up turkey or maybe a ground up chicken, stuff like that. It's just like with like beef tartare, but they also do a fish tartare. Or it's one of those things where you can just kind of. I love the creativity because you don't have to stay in that one spot. It was like the one dish they had with the he said he had the coconut just thin, and we all know coconut can get annoying sometimes if it's too much of it.
Yeah.
So a thin slice of coconut, infused with another element or acidity. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, man, the ingredients can be they can be manipulated, and you can get some flavors out of it. And like Doc said, the layering of those flavors.
Yeah, and I don't like fish tartare or beef tartare, but I like tartare sauce.
That's what she said. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Try not feeling that one.
Yes.
All right, so at the end, what y'all felt was perfect. They had the dinner around the table. They had with all of the different. I didn't get all the names, but I know they had Ghetto Gastro. Man, look them brothers up, man. They got stuff in Target. I don't know exactly what it is. It seems like a collective, but it seemed dope. They had that. They had different chefs. They had Dr. J there. So I mean, I felt like that was a perfect ending. Obviously, we've been talking about the table.
So after basketball, he got into cooking.
I knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming too.
What a layup.
When you said Dr. J, I thought you were going to say something about Larry Bird.
You know it was coming.
Yeah.
Well, the audience may not have seen the show, so you gotta say, it's bound to be. I know CJ was thinking it probably.
I mean, how can you
not? You gotta watch it. I don't think he ever said what her name was. He just said Dr. J.
Yeah,
maybe
Dr.
he said
J.
it in the first season.
Yeah, because she was.
They say her name, but they refer to her.
Dr. J.
Yeah. But that meeting around
he probably
the table,
can't finger roll like he can.
It's true.
Now when she showed that garden, which was kind of a story through our ancestry, I guess, if you will, that was powerful right there.
Yeah,
showing the cotton and showing the tobacco.
Yeah.
I think that's in New York.
And that's another thing we don't get enough credit for is tobacco farming, and whatnot. A lot of times when you think about slavery or sharecropping and all that other kind of stuff, cotton is a big player. But tobacco was a big player too that we don't.
All right.
And her breaking down that,
right?
Yeah, the breaking down that maroon people.
Yeah,
man, that was fun.
My family, like I said, picking cotton for my family, like my ancestors, my mama picked cotton.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And she can tell you all about, you got to fill up these croaker sacks and, how your hands going to be tore up because you got to separate the cotton from the, like literally, like in my house, I don't know if y'all noticed it, but I actually have some cotton here right by the door in a little, stand or decorative situation. But I did it because I wanted to say from the cotton field to here, So it's an homage, so to speak, to where we came from, to be perfectly honest, but a constant reminder every time I walk through the door. This was built on the backs of that.
And I don't know if my mom, I'm pretty sure we don't, but we had a cotton ball. It was still, it was rough. It wasn't even like snow white like you would expect. It was like had a little tin, like a brownish tan, little white tint. But it's rough, man. But it's just neat to see that,
She even gets emotional. I remember one time we were driving to Indianapolis to see my something. It was a college graduation for my twins or something like that, and we passed this cotton field, and she transformed, mentally. She was like, "Look at that cotton field," and she just stared at it.
Yeah,
like the entire way through it, and then they got these big machines out there now that are designed to water the fields in a way. And she's like, when them things first got out there, they were scared of it. You know, she was like, we were scared of them things. You know, and I'm like, why was y'all scared of them things? We ain't seen nothing like that. We
Right,
didn't
you don't know what
those was.
What it
You
was.
know, didn't know if they was there to try to poison them.
Right, yeah,
Didn't know what the hell they was. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, just hearing her say the things that just pop into her mind. It wasn't necessarily that I was questioning her about anything, but as soon as she saw it, the fresh memories that immediately came up.
Oh yeah.
You know, she could almost tell how much rain they done had. They like, oh, they done had rain over the last, you know, based on what the soil looked like from the, you know, that kind of stuff. I was like, you know, wow, you know, she's been out there that kind of time. Like when they got out of school, they went to cotton field. Sometimes before they went to school, they had to go.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
Ain't the can't.
I've heard those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up 2 photos here. This is Devon Francis right here.
Pull up, man.
And this is the Ghetto Gastro. And they were the way they.
Yeah, especially that brother on the left, man, with the tattoos. That dude there is so dope, man. It ain't even.
Yeah. And they were just talking about. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a photo of one of their products. But it is in Target. So if you obviously there's got to be a Target somewhere in your area. Yeah, they have a whole.
While you pulling that up, I'm gonna try to see. While you looking for that, Ben, let me put this picture back up there. So apparently, this guy, you know, he's not only get his food farm to table, but he get his sweaters farm to table too. Because somebody obviously quilted that.
His grandmama did probably.
Oh man!
I told you we score on everybody. We don't care. We give you props, but if you family,
yeah, man. Peppermint patty.
Somebody crocheted that for him.
Yeah.
Well, he got it from
Waldo. That ain't crocheted.
Might have borrowed it from Waldo.
Took time on that one.
Wow, Waldo.
So here's their whole line of products, and it says Black Power Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
They got some doggone toasters, some doggone Pop Tarts.
Syrup.
Oh, now I want to get the pancake and waffle mix. I want to get the syrup.
Yeah, and it says like
strawberry waffle.
Black Power Kitchen on the side.
Check them out.
Yeah.
Sweet potato waffle. Oh man, look at that, a PB&J toaster thing.
PB&J back there.
Yeah, let me go to Target in this month. Hold on, don't take that down yet.
Don't take that down yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out.
No doubt, man.
But they were just really breaking it down, and I just love to hear them guys talk. If they got a podcast, I'm probably gonna listen.
Yeah, I need to see if they got a podcast.
Yeah, Ghetto Gastro.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it, man. And they didn't they talk about even taking the word ghetto back,
right?
As well, and how that was, you know, has a negative connotation.
Right.
Yep. Just like we talked about plantation, and a lot of these words that have been used to demean us.
It's to inject that self-hate and make you like, if we can't destroy you, then we'll just let you self-destruct. Right. But
you'll just implode.
A buddy of mine actually came and said something. I didn't realize he had watched the episode, but he was like, man, when y'all talked about the plantation, man, he goes, that was powerful to me. You know, to hear y'all talk about that and how we look at it differently, you know, and we don't know how many things have been manipulated for us, you know. See, from a spiritual standpoint, your mind is the number one battleground. See, the enemy has no real power, right? You know, he comes like a roaring lion. He really has no teeth and no power to physically harm you, but he can mentally harm you, and this is where he goes to do his battle at. So if you keep control of that, you can kind of stave off, you know, the wiles of the enemy, so to speak. But you know, hey, think about how many things have been manipulated, man, in terms
and how many
how
times
we look at them.
Yeah, and it's 2 times now I've heard them mention how we were told these foods were just scraps, or these foods had no nutritional value, no connection to us. But in actuality, it was like we brought it with us. You didn't know how to grow it. You couldn't even tend to your own land. So I mean, it's a part of us. It's ours, you know. And like she said, you know, where now you take it, you're putting on that plate's $100. That plate's $85.
Right.
You know, it's like what?
Yeah, and your body will tell you certain, man. Sometimes when I eat fresh fruits and vegetables, man, my body literally responds to it. Like you can feel your body respond to it, man. Sometimes even water. If you hadn't had water in a minute, when you have water, your body responds to it. It's almost like your cells come alive. Like, okay, that's what we need. You know, y'all go get it. You know.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Man, another great series here of High on the Hog. If you haven't watched it, go ahead, go back to season 1. If you haven't watched this at all, and we're definitely looking to whatever's coming in the future. So let's get to final thoughts and Mike rating. We're going to go to A-Trap first.
Culture, community, history, taste, artistry.
Pretty good.
I like that. That's
How long
good.
did you practice that, brother?
That boy good. That was good.
Well, good.
Pretty good, eBay.
Oh.
All right, Doc.
IMDb, unfortunately, they didn't rate the individual episodes. They just rated the series. And the series got 7.7 out of 10. IMDb, Google 90%. Again, for me, it's a 5 micer. You know, every single episode, both seasons, they just are giving, man. You know, whether you are a foodie or whether you are not, which we know our culture, we foodies, man. We spend money on food.
Oh,
we will travel for some food. So I promise you, look at this. It'll probably inspire you to make some small changes to your diet and cooking at the house and stuff like that. You want a dope date night? Try a new recipe with your old lady. God dog it, man! What you doing, A-Trap? That's the international sign for something else, man.
Hey, he said bump the cooking.
Hold on, you have been demoted, sir. You're going to the basement. You're going to the basement, sir. Usually you don't go there. But wow, almighty, what got into you? The last show of 2023. It took us this long to infiltrate him, but we have. But yeah, hey, one of the dopest date night. You know, you and your old lady once a month get a new recipe and y'all cook together. You know, I promise you, man. Take it from me. Hey, that's what we calling it nowadays, you know. But yeah, so regardless of what your standing is in the kitchen, check this out, you know, and
absolutely,
it'll be well worth it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to Wilkes. I'm gonna go to you last. Obviously it's a 5, man. I think this got better. It's hard to get better in a season 2. There sometimes is a drop off, or there is that was a throwaway episode. They got lazy. They didn't get lazy. They hit you every single episode with more.
Leaves you wondering where could they possibly be going next.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. And they killed it again. So it's definitely a 5 for me. And I think there's so much meat in these episodes that you'll get a lot out of it. And I think like you said, Doc, I mean, you may want to try some places, you may want to change some things, it'll definitely change your perspective. And food is a lot more than just food. That's I think the biggest thing it's trying to tell you is it's not just what you eat. It's more to it than that. So,
well, hey, think about this. There's a whole new saying to "you are what you eat."
Yeah,
a whole different connotation to that now.
Yep. Absolutely.
We are that rice. We are that black beans. We are those greens.
Macaroni and cheese.
Let's not get into name calling. You are what you eat.
Oh wow.
Wow. Oh God.
I used to have a go-to joke for that in high school. I just leave like that.
leave it there.
Yeah. We'll just bring it up to the line.
All right, Will.
Yeah. Of course, I was reluctant to give it a 5 in the beginning, but they've all been a 5, definitely for me. And some of these chefs are from my, well, one of them definitely was from my childhood. Just to see Patrick Clark was pretty awesome. Just thinking about my grandmother through this, because how, like I said, and I've said it before, going to the farmer's market was a field trip for me. I mean, just being around different fruits and vegetables, and didn't know what all of them were, but just being there and seeing those fresh foods and knowing that, my grandmother's getting the ingredients, she's going to cook something, or her sister, my aunt, my great aunt, I mean, she's going to cook something, they're going to prepare something, or I'm helping in the process. But I have to give it a 5. I like the mention of how we're just kind of getting back to putting it on the map again and regaining some of these names and regaining some of these ingredients and these dishes, because like I said, you've taken it and turned it into like $30 plates at a 5-star restaurant, things like that. You're putting baby fresh in front of baby fresh picklings. I'm like, right. Come on, man. You just they picklets, man. They picklets. Like, stop. So right. It's just little stuff like that I noticed. But no, I enjoyed it. This is in my wheelhouse. Just the memories as a kid, just all those things like that. But
hey, when you put the word "moist" at the end,
hey, man.
It makes you laugh, man.
Hey, y'all are all childish. I'm just gonna say that right now.
If we would have used a different word at the end, man, it would have been all right.
Y'all are all childish, and your reading skills are on the same level too, because you all start laughing at the same damn time. So that means y'all got to moist at the same time.
Because I know Ben hates this word. I knew he was gonna say something, and I was just like, "Oh, here we go."
Oh my God.
But yeah, enjoyed it.
So in that episode, one of the biggest lines that stood out to me too is that they were describing somebody, and they was like, she was Martha Stewarting before Martha Stewart.
Yeah,
and that was the sister. Yeah, she was Martha Stewart before Martha
from the Bronx.
Yeah. What was her name?
I believe that
Karen something.
Was it the Karen Washington lady?
He's talking about the other lady. I didn't catch her name. They showed her.
Flashed her up real quick.
They flashed her up real quick. She was in a dress, and she was like staring at a clock because they were like testing, like I guess the pressure cooker or something like that. But I couldn't think. I didn't catch her name.
Cookbook and a TV show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look her up.
Yeah, I think there's so many people we learned about through this that have been instrumental in the movement and in cooking and in groundbreaking. Like Georgia, I think it was Georgia Gilmore, the one that was selling the food so then they could basically fund the bus boycott. I didn't know that. I mean, there's
Georgia.
All right. So it's a 5 across the board. So that means you have to watch it. It's mandatory. You know my policy. Netflix getting a little strict. But, go ahead and create that email.
By now, if you ain't got Netflix, come on, man.
Yeah, Netflix cracking down, man.
You tripping, man.
I don't know. All right. What's coming up tomorrow on the End of the Bench?
Well, it's an episode called Build and Destroy. Build up the community, destroy lies and propaganda. And it's an episode called Fight the Power. There's a couple of instances that I'm going to highlight. One of them, 2 of them were women. Let me pull up these ladies' names because I want their names to be said. One of them named is Brittany Watts. Brittany Watts is currently fighting for her freedom because she was 22 months into a pregnancy, went to the hospital, and they told her, look, Brittany's nothing we can do. Your water has broken. Your child is not old enough. You're going to have a miscarriage. She went home, and like most miscarriages, it was released from her body while she was on the toilet. She not paying attention. She flushed the toilet. She is incarcerated currently for where is it?
Lady with the plunger?
Huh?
Was this the lady with the plunger?
Maybe. And mutilation of a corpse. That's what she's incarcerated for, because they, and the sad part is, in the state of Ohio, there's a pamphlet that they are supposed to give you. And the pamphlet literally says, in the event of a miscarriage, you can either flush it or you can flush it out. She didn't even realize it came out. She went back to the hospital because in a miscarriage, you traditionally, a lot of people continue to hemorrhage. Mm-hmm. And the people at the hospital broke the HIPAA laws, and they got her arrested. The police literally went to this young lady's house and took the toilet out of her house to try to prosecute her. So, lady right down there with y'all in Dallas, she has been incarcerated for 4 years. Well, not in Dallas, in Texas, Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Brittany Parlow. She's been incarcerated for 4 years. She's fighting for her freedom because true indeed, she had traces of methamphetamine and marijuana in her blood, but that it was proven that she hasn't. That didn't affect the miscarriage that she's having. And there was another lady. Okay, I don't have her name. But this woman, she's in Texas. Her cells haven't developed. And she went and got an injunction so she can get an abortion. Because basically she has a clump of cells in her body that's never going to develop into a human being. So it's really putting her life in jeopardy. And good old Ken Paxton said, no, you need to carry the baby to term.
Yeah.
And the reason
that may be the same lady that I think her last name is Rowe or something. She had to go to a different state.
Yeah, young lady in Ohio. Watts is from Ohio as well. But the young lady from Ohio left the state and went to Indiana. The thing about Brittany Watts is this is the sad part. Brittany Watts is trapped in a system. She was prosecuted before the law was changed. And then the lady in Texas who's fighting right now against Ken Paxton, she is a victim of a variation of the Fugitive Slave Act because someone snitched on her for getting this injunction. And this is the reason why I have been fighting against Ice Cube. I've been fighting against Tariq Nasheed and other celebrities that are saying, hold your vote. And you don't think the voting process, like we become, for lack of a better, I'm not going to even say that, but we've become like this group of people in our country that are one issue voters. If Joe Biden he's pissing me off with the Gaza thing. So I'm not voting for the Democratic Party. But meanwhile, Ken Paxton, Rafael Cruz, the governor of Texas, Huckabee Santos, they are galvanizing the troops. And they have, I predicted this for the last 12 months. I predicted the reversal of Roe versus Wade. I predicted the attack on the 1965 Civil Rights Act. I predicted the attack on the Voters' Rights Act. And now we are in a situation I personally believe will be saved by the LGBTQ and women. But tomorrow is only going to be a portion. While really, if you get a chance, tune in on the 26th. It's going to be a year-end show. And I'm going to be honest. Some of our white brothers and sisters may be upset with us. It's upset with me for what I'm going to say. But I have lost faith in them because Malcolm X was killed 60 years ago. Dr. King was killed 55 years ago. Fred Hampton was killed 54 years ago. And Medgar Evers was killed even longer ago. And we're having the exact same problem. So don't stop telling me that people have our back when we make up 13% of the population. The other people make up the other 27%, right? Other groups. And if our good old fashioned brothers and sisters from other countries, our European heritage, they were really behind us, we wouldn't have these problems. And on the 26th, I am gonna, for lack of a better term, go balls to the wall, because I'm gonna speak my mind, and I'm gonna lose some of my subscribers, and I've lost 3 subscribers this week because of what I've been saying the last 3 weeks. But I'm sorry, I'm tired. I am physically tired. I'm mentally exhausted of talking about these things, and you know, like, one of the most powerful and popular mayors in the history of Chicago is by a brother by the name of Harold Washington. He died in 1987. And his actions are having backlash on the current mayor, who's also a black man. And my community here in Chicago, they are all on, you know, I understand that the propagandized conversation has been, we let Obama get off and didn't ask him for anything. But what's happening now, you have several mayors throughout the country who are receiving backlash because, oh, we ain't gonna let you get away like we got to let Obama get away. But, and I'll be quiet after this. 2 mayors ago, Larry Lightfoot was the last mayor. Before her was this man named Robert Emanuel. Before him, he was a man who was part of what was called a machine. Harold Washington busted up the machine. He made it so if you are black, you would have a black state rep, a black alderman, a black, black representation. If you were Latino, if you were Polish, he helped people get into position. And now everybody's angry at Mayor Johnson at something when Chicago was made a sanctuary city by Harold Washington. I understand we got to hold, Wilkes even quoted me, we must hold every politician's feet to the fire. But we had a mayor 3 mayors ago, Richard Daley, who sold away the rights to parking meters. It's this thing called the Skyway here. It is the fastest way to get to Indiana. At least 300,000 people cross that thing a day. Those people pay $10 each way.
Wow.
And you sold the rights to that for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
But y'all on Mayor Johnson, because the people who have migrated from other countries and Chicago's a sanctuary city, y'all really tripping. And I'm going to go into that next week. But tomorrow, it's called Fight the Power. And talk about Katie Cox. That's the lady's name. I did have it written down. Katie Cox. She's the one who's literally had to file a lawsuit because she has a dead clump of cells in her body. And it's not even a dead clump of cells. It never formed into a human. And she's fighting to get that loose. And we got people who are one-issue voters. Oh, I don't like abortions. I don't like gay people. So I'm going to vote the other way. So, it's just, tomorrow it's going to be the preamble to the last day of the year. And again, I know I'm going to lose some people. I'm going to lose some relatives more than likely. I know I'm thinking of some relatives who are not going to watch my show anymore because I'm going to call people out. And I'm tired, man. It's becoming dire. We're going to get through this election next year. And this is a nationwide issue. If Black folks don't get their act together, people are going to be treating us like they treated other groups called minority groups in this country. And we're going to be at the bottom of the rung. We're going to be on the bottom rung of the ladder. People are going to be literally stepping on our heads to get where they want to go. Like, I really appreciate Sister Karen from the Bronx using the term, and I've heard her on the Karen Hunter show, food apartheid. A desert is a natural thing that was created by nature. When you don't have grocery stores and fruit stands and like that, produce stores, that is a choice by people in city government to put you in that situation. They make statements like food deserts, and there's impoverished and underpaid communities. Explain if we live in impoverished and underpaid communities. Explain to me why banks continue to lend other communities money to open up stores in our community. That would be a openly failed proposition. I'm going to give you money to open up a business where nobody has money.
Right.
Being programmed into believing we're not or less than. And again, that's why I'm going to attack it tomorrow. I'm going to lose some subscribers. 2 fingers, 1 word. I get it. I'm not here to make friends anymore. My people are getting their asses handed to them. And I have to speak up. So,
yeah. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central, tune in. The End of the Bench Media on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. We got a Queen and King tomorrow.
No, sir. The Queens, and I'll go ahead and make this announcement now. They worked so diligently throughout the 2023 year. I've given them a winter break. You know, really, I've carried them in 2023, but
Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and give them a break the rest of the year. So they're on winter break. So, yeah, shout out to the Queens.
All right, this will be our last episode of the year. We'll be back in January.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
January the 8th. So we'll be back on that date, 2 weeks. And thank you for your support this year. I mean, we've hit even bigger numbers. I think we've impacted more people. We've done more impactful films and documentaries. Appreciate you, brothers, and we'll be back.
Yeah. And the BS3 Network group on Facebook is growing at such a pace that it is just amazing. So y'all continue to do that. Continue to, hit your like and subscribe button. We need your support. Again, Anthony Lansdowne, also known as
Illinois.
All right. Nathan Ramachandra, Clinton Killian, Terry Little, Sean Clinton, Vince Wright. We appreciate y'all for your like.
The sports governor.
Yep. The one of 3 black people in Minnesota.
That's right.
Besides the one on the Vikings. Anyway.
On the Vikings?
No, I done been to Minnesota a few times. Some black folks in there.
And Josh Dobbs is Hector Villanueva's twin brother.
Yeah.
Neither one of them got eyebrows.
All right, we're gonna get out of here.
Charlie Villanueva.
Show sponsored by Share Alternatives, and we're gonna close it out on their commercial. Shout out to my guy Carlos. You can check them out at the Farmers Market, and they're there every Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see y'all in January. Peace.
It's all pure from Mother Nature. It's all natural.